we are not getting any fulfillment in that. And so make sure you're inviting your friends, especially the younger ones, who still have a lot of years ahead of them to explore in this time that people are making so many mistakes and all that. Which is the best way to go about it in them choosing the career they want to choose, the kind of things they want to do. And so stay tuned and let your comments keep coming in. How do someone, or how will I find my purpose? How do I identify my purpose? That is very important. And so share, invite people, tag them, and leave your comments in the comment section. I'll take time to read all of them, your questions and all that, so that we all live here fulfilled, especially as we are here to talk about purpose. Okay, so when we are talking about purpose, my first question is, what exactly is even purpose? The purpose itself, what is it in the first place? We hear about purpose, we hear about passion. Is purpose the same as passion? What exactly do we mean when we say that, well, I'm living according to my purpose? I am doing what I need to do. And to do that, let's look at the book of Genesis, chapter 1, and I'll read from the verse 28, something briefly. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every living thing that moves on the earth. This is what God said to them. And God said, verse 29, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is in the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. 30, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for you for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. And that brings us to what purpose is. What do we mean by purpose? To explain purpose simply, with a simple explanation, when you create something, there is always a reason to create whatever you create. Let's say you want to eat. You eat for a reason. You don't just eat. So maybe you feel hungry, or maybe you feel like snacking on something. So that becomes the reason behind the action you are taking. And so if we are bringing it to our lives, our purpose is simply what is behind our existence, the reason for our existence. What are we here to do? And this is an important question we always have to ask ourselves. Did God just create us to come and roam the surface of the earth and give us 90 or 100 years? Come, roam, 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 roam. When your time is up, then you die and the cycle continues and all that. No, that is definitely not the case. God gave us an assignment, a mission. There is a reason for the existence of every human being. The mere fact that you exist means that you are in here to play a role, to play a part. And that part, God's general purpose for humanity, is to be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. So God talks about fruitfulness and multiplication, and then filling the earth and subduing it. and then having dominion over every other thing, including the fish in the sea and the birds of the heaven. So God gave us 5 things: fruitful, multiplication, filling the earth, subduing it, and then having dominion over it. This means that this is God has called all of us to do. You know, somebody will ask, this instruction was given to Adam. How do I come in? Um, when you go back where God says that it is not good for man to be alone. You know, when you go into the Hebrew translation, it means all in one. So we were all deposited in Adam. God just made all of us in Adam. So he was an all in one man. That was what they meant by the word, it is not good for man to be alone. So we were there. The instruction God was giving to Adam, we were all deposited in him. And we have come as generation upon generation. It means that all of us were in him. And that is why through one man, sin came to the earth, and through one man salvation is also given. And so whatever instruction was given to Adam in the garden was given to all of us because we were deposited in him. So those of us who keep blaming, oh Adam, as if you were there you wouldn't have eaten the fruit. You were there, you were actually part of him, just that your existence had not been expressed in the physical realm, but you were present in Adam. So whatever Adam did, we are all complicit. And so don't think that that instruction was just for Adam. So this is what God wants us to do: fruitful, multiplication, filling the earth, subduing it, and having dominion. You know, I've heard many times when people talk about this verse and then they only mention about, oh, God says you should be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth. So there it ends. It's all about reproduction. But that was not the mandate by itself. Being fruitful. So you have to be fruitful before, and you multiply the fruit. So you need to be fruitful first and multiply the fruit, and then let that fruit fill the earth and subdue it. And that you also dominate, have dominion over everything that is in the earth. This is God's original idea, God's purpose for humanity, because he made us. But then, does that mean that we all have to do the same thing? No, because these things, they are general things that God has put in there. But then we have to now come in and define. It's like a car maker. When we say that, oh, cars or vehicles, they are just for transportation, like we know. It's meant to take us from point A to point B. But the question now is, do all cars do the same thing? No, they all take you from point A to point B, but we have different kinds of cars. So they will still be able to move from point A to point B, but they do it in different manners. And that's how it all comes down to when we're talking about the issue of identifying your purpose. We are all human beings. We are in Adam. God has given us 5 instructions, five things, 5 connected things to do. But then we all do and express them in different ways. So we have saloon cars, we have hatchback, we have family vans, and all of these, they all do different things, although they are all cars and their main agenda is to transport people from point A to point B. Some can transport only one person and cargo, others can transport 50 people, others can transport 5 people. So these are all different. But then I'll give you just a few tips in how to identify the purpose. I will take some of the comments I see here. My wife says, you look adorable. Thank you, wife. Pastor Francis says, God bless you. God bless you too, Pastor Francis. Our purpose is what God created us to be or do on this earth. What am I here to do? What am I here to do? Yes. So, first of all, for you to be able to identify that purpose, you need to first understand and believe that you have a higher purpose. You know, there are many people who are not living according to their purpose because they haven't come to the simple realization or the simple understanding that they are on this earth for a higher purpose. They are here to fulfill a mandate. That they are not just here by accident. And because people, first of all, do not understand this, they live their lives anyhow, just waiting for the next thing to happen to them. Instead of happening to the world, they are waiting for the world to happen to them because they don't know the part they are supposed to play. They don't even think that they are here. They see themselves like, okay, just like any other animal or something. They are born, they live, and then they die. And so that is just what it is for them. But then, was it Mark Twain also said that there are two important days in the life of a man. Two important days in the life of a man. The day you are born, and then the day you find or identify your purpose. So the day you are born, and as a Christian, I would say that there are still 2 days. The day of your physical birth is not as important as the day of your spiritual birth. So the day you are born again, and then the day you identify your purpose. These become the two most important days in your life as a believer. And so know that or trust that you have a higher purpose. Once you trust that you have a higher purpose, you pursue it. You can't chase after something you don't know. The biggest limitation in this world is not knowing that you don't know something. It is a big, big limitation because then you give yourself into a lot of folly. You do things anyhow because you don't even know that there is something you don't know. And it is that very knowledge that is keeping you where you are. The difference between the people who are doing exploits and the people who are not is knowledge. The difference between your pastor and you is knowledge. That knowledge that brings the anointing and the level they are supposed to be that you don't know. So knowledge is always making a difference. And so first have that knowledge. Secondly, listen to your inner person. Once you are born again, and I would say everything on the background that you've been born again. But I still know that even people who are not born again, they still kind of hear things from within and all that. You need to search within yourself. Make sure that you are listening to what your inner man is telling you. It's not about all the noise. Sometimes you need to seclude yourself just to think, just to reflect. Not what is on your mind, but the things that are in your heart. You need that time for yourself to be thinking, to reflect, to meditate, and most importantly, spending time with God. Because the more time you spend with God, the more the Holy Spirit speaks to you. That fellowship becomes, and you begin to hear His voice more pronounced, and He tells you things. So listen to your inner person. What is within you? What is it telling you? What is it telling you? And then you identify your passions, your values, and your goals. So I did mention about purpose and passion. Now let me say this and make it emphatically clear. Purpose and passion are not the same. You can be very passionate about something, but it does not necessarily mean that it is your purpose. So, but the passion kind of helps you to achieve your purpose. So passion is one of the things you would want to look for when you are trying to identify your purpose, but the passion in itself is not your purpose. So let's get that distinction clearly. The passion, something you're so passionate about this, let's say um, climate change or something, you're so passionate about it, does not necessarily mean that that in itself is your purpose. It is helping you to identify what the purpose is. So it's one of the channels through which you can identify what your purpose is, but it is not the purpose in itself. So you identify your passions, your values, the things that you will not tolerate, the things that drive you. What values is it all what are the things that you expect people to uphold? What kind of virtues? And what are the things that are deal breakers for you? What are the deal makers for you? You need to identify all of these things and then set kind of identify your goals. Where am I thinking of getting to? Where will I end up by this path and all those things? Now, there is something also about purpose that I think that we need to understand, and that is about admiration. Admiration and purpose. They might be the two different things. Why will I say this? When we were kids, I believe that when you ask a lot of Ghanaian kids, let me be specific. When you ask a lot of Ghanaian kids, what do you want to be in the future? A lot of them will tell you, oh, I want to be a doctor. That would probably be the one that would be most predominantly mentioned by a lot of kids. I want to be a doctor. Oh, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a businessman. I want to be a pastor. These could be just born out of admiration. Maybe you admire the attention that doctors receive, but honestly, how many doctors do we have in Ghana? I remember when I was in elementary school, at least, at least 50% of the people I was in the class with, they all wanted to be doctors. Now, if you look at those numbers and you ask yourself, how many doctors do we have? And you realize that it is a very small fraction of the people that are able to make it. So it is an admiration. You admire that occupation or career, but it is not necessarily your purpose. So you need to kind of also differentiate. You can admire music. You can see that, oh, I like the way these musicians carry themselves, and I wish I could be one. But it does not necessarily mean that that should be your purpose. Oh, I admire the way activists do their things, Martin Luther King, and all the wonderful things that are being said about him. Oh, so because of that, I think that is my purpose. No, it could just be an admiration. Admiring something does not necessarily mean that you've been called to do that. So let's differentiate that. Okay, let me hear what you're saying. All right, go to the source of the purpose. Yes. Believe that you have a higher purpose. Wow. Yes, that's of Mama Mina. Believe it. Two most important days. Great point. My boss that. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Miranda. Being away from the noise is very important. I agree with you. Passion is definitely not the same as purpose. Me cry, I said some more. Oh, Josh, right? A lot of us, we all wanted to be doctors. Every child wants to be a doctor, but as you grow, you get to know it's not math but hard work and purpose. Yes. Me too. Meanwhile, I hated science. So that's true. And the thing is, some of these things, they are really becoming a frustration to a lot of people. Why I am very passionate about this issue about purpose and all that is because if you are not careful to identify it early enough, you make a lot of mistakes and you waste a lot of time. And you still find yourself coming back to the basics. And a lot of us, society has primed us in a certain way that we begin to think about things in only one direction. We think that, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. And so that is the line that we are towing. Instead of listening to what God is telling us, what God has given to us, and He's speaking louder, louder, louder in us every day. And so we need to really be careful. And I'll say this with my own personal experience. Growing up, when you are doing well in elementary school, oh, automatically, well, I have to be a science student. I have to be a doctor. You have to be on that path. And so I remember very well that I chose to be a science student. So I went to high school, did my science, and went to university to do, let's say, I did biology and chemistry as a minor. Now, you see, after graduating, and I'll be very honest with you, that from the time I graduated from my undergrad, I think it was the first year that I used it to serve as an assistant, a teaching assistant. After that service period, I have not used that first degree for anything again. My line has just shifted completely from the sciences to the businesses. And now making that shift was quite challenging because now you need to go back and learn all these things from the basics. So if I had gotten that idea early on that, okay, well, I don't think that it is science that I want to do. I feel, okay, I am smart. I like these doctors and all those things, but that's not what God has called me to do. It would have been much easier. But I had to go through all that channel, waste my time, and then, well, not necessarily waste because you still learned something, but finally to get to where I am, completely different in the marketing field, which is nowhere close to the field of biology. And I believe that a lot of young people also find themselves in similar situation. That although at some point in my life, I was admiring and thinking so much that, oh, I think I want to be a doctor. When I was growing up, and fortunately for me, my elder brother is a medical doctor, so I was looking at his life and everything that he has to be doing and all those things, and I completely lost that passion for medicine. Like it vanished, like out of nowhere. So that is the difference. For purpose, you don't lose it. The purpose remains, but the passions, they change. So the people that are in high school and all those things that you think that, oh, this is my passion, this is what I'm passionate about, and understand that there comes a time the things that you are passionate about, they can change, but your purpose will not change. So instead of thinking only about the passion and the passion and the passion, channel that energy into identifying your purpose and pursuing that, because you have several passions. As and when things come and go, the more you begin to understand something, the more passionate you become about it. So passion even grows with experience. So I don't think that passion is the necessary thing you should be looking out for, but it should just be guiding you. Perhaps it is in line with what you want to do. And then once you've identified these passions and values and goals, this is the most important step. Take action every day. Do something every day. Do something every day. Do something every day. Make sure that every passing day you are doing something related to that purpose, the things that you think you are passionate about. And you need to also explore. You see, have you sat down to ask yourself, why is it that in elementary school children are exposed to a plethora of subjects? So you will do graphic design, you do art, you do science, you do maths, you do uh, social studies and all those things. You do something about governance and economics and all those things at the elementary school. The reason is because they want to expose you to many different things, so that out of those many different things, you begin to carve a niche and forge a path for yourself. The problem I have seen is that a lot of us, even at that point, we are not able to identify what we love or what our purpose is supposed to be, because we want to go for the easy way out. So in elementary school, and I've taught students before, you realize that a lot of the times, even students tend to want to study the easy things, the things that they can easily understand. So the subjects that they think, oh, this subject is easy, social studies, and also you will see students scoring 99 and all those things in those subjects, and then scoring less than 50 in mathematics, because in their mind, mathematics is difficult. But I feel that once you begin to put certain notions in your head, it changes your perspective about life, and you might be limiting your purpose. So you need to approach everything with an open mind. Let me explore this. Because until you've tried something, come on, if you have not tried, how would you know that this is not a fit for me? So at least expose yourself by at least talking to somebody who is in that career. If you are in a high school or something and you are thinking of a path, at least you need to speak to people. If you Because you cannot try becoming a doctor, or you cannot try becoming a nurse, but there are nurses you should know, there are doctors you should know, there are lawyers you should know, there are different people that you can at least try and experience what they are doing, asking them how it is for them, the challenges and all those things, and then you compare those to your values and your passions and then your goals. So you need to expose yourself to so many things. Expose yourself. You cannot sit in one direction. You cannot be eating one food every day and then saying that this is the best food in the world. No, because you haven't tried other foods. Make sure that you are exposing yourself to all the different aspects of life. If it is engineering, have you been to a site before? Have you spoken to an engineer? How are they enjoying? How is life as an engineer like? If you want to own your own business or be a businessman, you have to know, okay, so what does it mean to want to be a business person? Sometimes you would want to even try your hands out with some voluntary, whatever, maybe a day or a week or something, just to find where exactly you fit. This taking action is very, 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 very important. So as you take action, you realize that there are certain things that come more naturally to you than others. You realize, okay, so when I went to try my hands on engineering, I realized, oh, I could really think around the thing and it was coming and I was really fulfilled doing what I was doing. Unlike when I went to the hospital, I could not stand the blood or even the stench or the whatever is used even to clean the atmosphere and all those, and seeing all those sick people, it didn't make me really feel like doing this thing. But you don't sit at home and look at watch TV or whatever and think that, oh, okay, this is the path for me. No. And so if you're a parent, my advice is that to help your children identify their purpose, expose them to different things, different kinds of occupations. Let them at least have that encounter or talk to somebody in that field. And so that as they do that, they begins to hone their skills. When I went to for my first degree, the reason why I chose biology and chemistry was because in high school, well, my biology teachers and chemists, they were good, but then physics, I did not really have very good teachers in physics, so I did not really like the subject. But then when I exposed myself to a bit of physics by sitting in some of those classes, and I realized that I'm actually very good at that thing. that if I had had that kind of background, perhaps in high school, I would have chosen physics over biology because of the calculations and all those things. I felt that was more natural to me than just the biology and all those things. I don't like things that you just have to memorize and all those things. No, I like practical things. So I would have probably gone for physics, but because the teacher wasn't good, and sorry to say that, but because the teacher wasn't good to me, that's the best way to say it, because he probably could not explain things to my understanding. I felt that was not for me. So sometimes there are so many things that may be playing a role in what you think that this is for me, this is not for me. So you need to explore, talk to people, and find out things, and you'll be able to identify yourself. So your talent plus its ability to make an impact. So using your talent to make an impact becomes your purpose. So your purpose equation is simple. Talent plus impact is equal to purpose. So for purpose to be complete, there should be talent and there should be impact. When you just have the talent, it does not equal purpose. The talent must be able to make an impact. If it is not making any impact, you are living out of your purpose, because God gave us in strict instruction: fruitful, multiply, subdue, dominate, fill. So you need to make sure that that talent, finding those abilities and the skills, need to make an impact, and that together it becomes your purpose. So at least if even you walk out with nothing from here today, at least learn to remember that your talent plus the impact you use it to make is equal to your purpose. So if you are trying to know what purpose itself is, then first identify your talent, and then know how it is going to impact the world, the people around you, how that is going to make a difference, now becomes a purpose. Don't look only at the impact. The impact alone becomes desire and passion. So you may be seeing, oh, this person has a foundation, they are building schools, they are doing all those things, and you like that impact. But then your talent itself is not doing anything. You are not living in your purpose. So you need to balance those things. Okay, let's hear. Talk is cheap. My dad told us that smart people do science. So all my brothers did science by force because they were told boys must do science. Exactly the case. They were not alone. No. All of us were in that soup. Your first degree helped you, pal, to have scientific conversations with your wife. Oh yeah, maybe that's the advantage I may have gotten from my first degree, because I did biology and chemistry, and my wife is a scientist. At least I can have a meaningful conversation with her and understand a lot of the things that she's trying to talk about. But apart from that, I'm not really using it to make a lot of impact out there in the world. So it definitely cannot be my purpose. My brother, after completing 4 years pharmacy in Central University, is now a businessman. LOL. He said he wanted to read business, but my dad said no. Hey, this issue. African parents never fail with a science perception. George, that's true. Do something every day. And I think that as young people coming up, that we owe our children a responsibility, helping them to get the things that we did not get. It would be cruel to say that, okay, because I had to suffer to navigate and all those things, my children should also tread that same path. No, you now have gone through it, you know better. And so we should be able to do better by our children. They should live a far better life than we are doing, because our impact must first be felt by our family members and then the world at large. So That is very important. Parents have a big role to play to guide their kids identify their purpose. Exactly. Um, research and acquire knowledge. Exactly. Kobe wants to be many things, always saying one profession or another, from an engineer to a soccer player. Yes, these are all things that he admires. So I believe that you can be able to help him um, as he grows a little older, expose him to all the different people so that he can know what really it entails to be a soccer player and not just some people think that being a soccer player is all about going to stand on the pitch to play that one match and then you either score or lose. But there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and they need to explore to know these so that they know exactly what they are getting themselves into. Um, you have work to do. Talent plus impact equals to purpose. Your talent and its impact becomes your purpose. Uh, Esasechi Kofi, Nyame Tiase, Safumame. Yes, Josh. Yeah, God is going to help us to be able to do that. And then the final thing to do in this whole purpose thing is to define your own success. What does success mean to you? What does success mean to you? Success. Everybody has their own definition of success. I'm telling you. For some people, if they are able to buy one small house, maybe a two-bedroom house, and live comfortably with their children and all that, that is success for them. For somebody to, oh, if they are able to make $1 million, that's success for them. So you need to define what success means to you. What are the things that when you are able to accomplish, you will be able to say that you have become successful? And that is very important. Don't look at what your friends call successful and make it your story, because your purpose is different from theirs. Your course is different from theirs. So you have to identify what your purpose is. And if you know the story of Elon Musk, for example, I always mention him because this gentleman was able to build PayPal, and he was able to sell PayPal then to eBay, and out of the sale he alone received about 190 or something $1 million. Now, you see, because he had his own definition of what success is, he did not stay there at PayPal. If you do not know your definition of success, if you have not defined success for yourself, you might get content or complacent or shortchange yourself, some, as I would say it. So define success. He knew that PayPal wasn't his destination. It was a means to an end because he knew what success is. And as of now, we don't even know what success means to him. I think that it is perhaps being able to move people from Earth to go and live on Mars may be his definition of success. So this young man took all that money, $190 million or so, and went to use that all that money to start two new companies, Tesla and then SpaceX, out of which he has been able to do some other things. And as we speak, he is worth over $150 billion. So imagine, because he knew success, what success means for him, he used all that money to go and invest in his purpose, which had brought him how many returns? Over 2,000% returns. With between, I think, was it 2002 or 2008 thereabout. So it should tell you that if you don't know what success means to you. When you get to a certain point, you think you've arrived. It's like traveling to a certain city. Now, because of Google Maps, we know, and all those map navigation apps. But imagine you are going to a city you've never been before. There is no map and there is no signage to tell you that you've arrived in this particular city. How will you know that this is where you are going? So you need to be able to know the city, your destination. Okay, even in the city, which part of the city am I going? Where is your destination? You have to define it before the whole issue of success becomes what do you call it? A little more pronounced. And the caution here is that in defining what success means to you, it should not be all about money. Don't only look at monetary terms when you are thinking about success. No, money is just a tool. If you think that by being able to accumulate millions or billions of dollars means that you have become successful, you haven't. Because in the definition for purpose, in that equation, we said that it is your talent plus the impact you are making. So the talent has been able to generate you millions and millions and millions. What impact? Because that was the instruction from God. Dominate, fill it, subdue. So what impact is the millions making? That is success. So the success is not the money sitting in the bank, but it is what the money is enabling you to do, because it becomes a tool. Your definition of success is not just about, what do we call it, being able to make the money. Okay, well, I have $100,000, I have $1 million, I have $20 million, so I have arrived. No, you haven't arrived yet. Your purpose has still not been achieved or accomplished. But after finding that money, what does it enable you to do? And that is where you can see men like Bill Gates. That is what they are doing now. The man has used his talent to acquire the money that he needs. And now the money is being used to do things through his foundation. It is about the things that it can help you do. So you can see, I always tell people that it's very obvious that Bill Gates' passion is not in computer programming. His purpose is not computers and all those software and all that. No, 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 no. Because you can see what he is doing with all that money. Now, he's not even really much associated with his company, but then he is more concentrated on the foundation and going to look for whatever climate change and all those things. You can see the kind of projects he is funding. That is the impact he wants to make, and that now helps him to achieve his purpose. So always think about it this way, that the money you are going to make is not the success, but the money and what it will be used to do is what is going to help you achieve your purpose. Because there are some people who can also even achieve their purpose without necessarily having a lot of money. They could be ordinary men and women, but because of the impact that they are able to make. I don't think that Mother Teresa was a billionaire or a millionaire. There are many people who have been on the surface of this earth, even Martin Luther King. I don't think he was a billionaire, but he was able to use his talent and his passions and everything to make an impact. And because of that, he was able to leave a legacy. And that becomes the fulfillment of his purpose, which is at the other side of that equation. So don't only look at success Or don't even look at success from money. Ask yourself, what are the things that when I do, I will be fulfilled within me? What are those things? To me, for example, it is the ability to make an impact in a lot of young people's lives, leading them the right way. That brings me the biggest satisfaction. So I know that, well, I must be able to impact the lives of many young people to achieve their purpose. That becomes success for me. So when I'm able to mentor someone, to help someone to get to where they want to go or set them on that track, it kind of gives me part of that fulfillment. But then once you know this, your end goal, now you ask yourself, what are the things that you need? And so, what things do I need to be able to make that impact? One of those things is money. And so I have to make money. So the reason why I like to make money, it's not necessarily because of the fun of making money, but it's because of what the money will allow me to do. The money will allow me to achieve my purpose of helping people become who they want to become, irrespective of their backgrounds and all those things. And that's how you need to define things. So when it comes to the whole issue of purpose, um, that should be how it is. Someone's success is being a slave queen. Interesting. I have to learn to define my own success. Thank you so much for these great points. The money will come if you are making an impact. Money is only a tool, the impact. Exactly the point. It is rather unfortunate that in our lives today, as young people, we rather concern ourselves so much with the money that we are beginning to lose ourselves. So, anything to be able to make money, irrespective of the legacy we are leaving behind. So, if even the whole world will call us whatever, or we will be even outcast in society, we don't care as long as we are able to make money, because we think that money is success. But no, money definitely is not success. You can make all the money in the world. If that money is not making any impact, it is nothing. And that's why people like Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill and so forth, they they give all their money, the billions that they make out, to charity before they die. Because at the end of the day, there is no point in that money sitting down doing nothing when you already have a trust for your children, which will make sure that they will never be poor. At least, what is there to do again than to make an impact and to leave a legacy? I pray that all of us coming up as young men and women will make the right things our focus and not think that money is the end, but see that it is a tool that is supposed to take us to our purpose. It's supposed to help us. If at the end of the day I'm a believer, I believe in salvation and the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I believe that this gospel must go out, that people must be able to know who Jesus is. And so, my definition of success is going to be that to be able to push the ministry forward in whichever way possible. And to be able to do that, if money is one of the tools, definitely. If me going to preach is one of the tools, definitely. So once you know that success, you know the things that you need. Imagine the people who are. I hear there is a man who gives about $370 million every year for the printing of Bibles and the missionary work. This is success because at the end of the day, he is able to impact the lives of people, send the gospel to the unreached, supporting missionaries, although he cannot do it himself. And so that becomes the purpose. So the reason when you are able to identify these things, that is when God pours down the blessing. Because when he was saying that, oh, okay, give a good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over, will men pour into your bosom? How was it going to come? You should be doing something, and then that good measure will come. But God does not just bless you, He blesses your motive. So when God knows the purpose, the goal you are trying to achieve, He helps you to achieve that goal because it will be for the collective good. I pray that our goals will be to make lives better, to impact lives, and we will not live life anyhow, but we will learn to live life with purpose. I'll take the final comments and then I'll sign out. Um, my God, I want to be like this man. Wow. Yes, it is a good aspiration to want to be the ones pushing out ministry in such a way. And I think that I don't know how much fulfillment. I just want to imagine being in his shoe for just one day, how fulfilled he will be, that oh my God, I'm able to do this every year, every year, every year. I pray that we'll receive the grace to be able to do that. Thank you for sticking around, and God bless you for making time to join us on Roundtable. I've enjoyed your comments and your support. I pray that we'll be able to come back again and learn some awesome things later. And so, if you're not following FBN, please make sure that you do so, and also get that notification so that whenever FBN goes live, you are notified and you can join and learn all the wonderful things. This afternoon, I learned a lot about modesty, and now we are learning about purpose. Tomorrow is Gospel City at 6 p.m. and all of that. So please make sure you are following and sharing and doing all the wonderful things. Until we meet again tomorrow on Gospel City, it is my prayer that God will be with you and then help you to identify your purpose. And not just in the identifying, but to help you and to equip you to be able to achieve it. Because whoever God calls, He also equips, He justifies. So these are the processes that we'll go through in order to achieve that purpose. God be with you. I am Nana Harrison on Roundtable, and I sign out. See you again. Bye.